Hi everyone and welcome back to Newegg TV. My name is Paul and today I'm going to be doing an overview of this new monitor from LG. This is the LG UltraWide IPS monitor, model 29EA93. So let's start off with a closer look at the retail box and we'll start with the basics. This is a 29-inch monitor, measured diagonally of course, 28.7 inches more specifically. And you'll notice that this box is very wide and that the monitor itself is also very wide. So I'm going to point out to why. All the way over here, 21:9 aspect ratio. That is ultra wide, and if you're not familiar with that, most 1080p monitors, for example, right now are currently 16:9 aspect ratio. So this is going to give you more of a wide letterbox style format, typically like you might see with a movie or something along those lines. And it also gives you some workspace productivity options in that you can easily display two 1280 images or web pages side by side. It's also an IPS monitor. That stands for in-plane switching. It's the technology in the LCD, and essentially it's going to give you greater color depth as well as better color reproduction and also a wider viewing angle. Also includes stereo speakers that are integrated. This feature here, Mhl, if you're not familiar with that, that's Mobile High Definition Link, and that's a way you can easily connect via one cable your smartphone or tablet to the monitor, and then you can play your media, whether it's video, audio, or that sort of thing, on your monitor. It's a pretty cool feature. We'll be demoing that as well. You also get dual link up, so you can actually connect two separate devices to the monitor, and it will give you a split screen down the middle, so you can actually display your display from either device on either side of the monitor. You also have a 4-screen split option, and that will allow you to split the screen into 4. Pretty straightforward there, and it allows you to effectively have it act as 4 distinct monitors rather than one large widescreen monitor. Also cinema screen, of course, that's referring to the aspect ratio. And that's about it for the box. Let's go ahead and take a look at accessories. Here's a look at the accessories that are included in the box, apart from 1 or 2 items that are for the monitor stand, which I've already mounted, but I'll show you that in just a moment. First off, of course, AC power plug right there. Routes over to one of the little 3-pin prong cables, similar like you might see in a notebook. Fairly small power brick right there, so as you can see, LG logo on that side. That's the end that plugs into that AC cable, and then of course the other yellow end right here, which plugs into the monitor to provide power. We also have an audio cable, so standard 8-inch or 3.5mm audio to route audio from your computer or other input source over to the monitor itself. The monitor does have a built-in 3-port USB 3.0 hub, so they have included a USB 3.0 B to A cable, so you can plug one end there into your computer, plug the other end here into the monitor, and then that will give you 3 USB 3.0 ports accessible from the back. You also have that Mhl cable. Again, this is a cool feature that I'm going to be demoing in just a moment, but essentially you got HDMI on one side, you have micro USB on the other side, and again, if you have an Mhl compatible smartphone or tablet, you simply plug the USB side in on one end, plug the other end into the TV, and that gives you both audio, video, and it will also charge your device. At least most devices, depending on the amount of amperage needed. You also have a cable tie right here as well from LG, so you can keep your cables nice and tidy. This is just a little stopper for the back. I'll show you where that goes in just a moment. It's just to give it a cleaner look once you actually have the stand installed. You also have, here we go, dual Link Dvi cable. Do bear in mind that in order to get the high resolution of this monitor, you do need dual Link Dvi. Single link does not have the capability to push enough pixels, so very nice that they've included this. And make sure that wherever your source is coming from, most likely a computer, that also has a dual Link Dvi out. Of course, HDMI is also works. And finally, here we have some documentation. They have included a driver disk right there, so that will include your owner's manual, driver installation files, that includes the monitor driver, USB driver, also the screen split software, and the True Color Finder software for calibrating your monitor. Product registration right here, so a little card to send in, also warranty information right there. LG is providing a 1-year parts and labor warranty for this monitor, so you can contact them if you have any troubles. Also an easy setup guide indicating all of the accessories that I've shown you here, as well as a nice picture tutorial for getting the stand installed, plugging in your connectors, and of course orienting it so that you can have a nice pleasant viewing experience. Also a quick note, resolving something that might have been needing fixing in the manual. And then finally we have the monitor itself, so give me just a moment, we'll take a closer look at this one. And here's a look at the monitor itself. Stand is already installed, I'll show you how that works in just a moment. But again, 29 inches measured from corner to corner this way, and here you can really see that wide, almost letterbox format of the monitor. Also has a very slim bezel going around the outside. The picture actually starts about I'd say 1/4 of an inch possibly in from the bezel right here, but it does give it a clean look overall from edge to edge. You'll notice a nice dark brushed aluminum finish down here in the bottom, LG logo in the center of course, and then down here at the bottom you have your touch controls. Each one has a little nub beneath it so you can feel where you're actually touching. Left and right, okay, and I'll be showing you guys a menu as well in just a second, as well as power. Also important to note, this is Energy Star compliant, so you will be saving some energy as compared to some other non-Energy Star compliant monitors. Here's a look at it from the side. So you can see, again, LED backlight on this, so that helps keep the profile nice and thin. So you can see it gets a little bit wider towards the bottom, but I find that keeps it keeps the center of gravity a little bit lower, so the monitor is nice and stable with the stand included, of course. Also, you will notice that this has a nice semi-gloss white backing to it, so it does give it a very clean look overall. It's a very striking monitor. LG logo on the back as well. And then you'll notice the stand, which I was supposed to show you from this side. Monitor is fairly light, so it's easy to move around. And you do have a tilt option on the stand like that, so you can tilt it back. You can also give it a bit of a negative tilt by tilting it forward. Around here on the back, you'll notice a bit of ventilation here at the top. A VESA mount right there, so standard mount. If you do want to go without the stand, do a wall mount, something along those lines, you do have that option. You also have your DC input right there for your power. Here is your integrated USB 3.0 hub. So again, B side of your USB cable goes in right there, and then you have 3 USB 3.0 ports to choose from. Here's your audio input. Here is your headphone output. You also have a display port in, as well as that dual Link Dvi in. Then you have HDMI 1 and HDMI 2. Note that HDMI 2 is your Mhl connection, so that also supplies 5 volts, 0.9 amp output. So if you do plug in a smartphone, for example, you will charge while you're actually playing back your media. And again, just bear in mind that that HDMI cable that's included needs to plug into HDMI 2 right there. It will not work with HDMI 1 if you're going for Mhl. Also, the stand itself, again, really simple to install. I'm not even really going to show you guys because it was that easy. There's just 2 screws to screw in right there. Keeps that securely in place, and then we have this little plastic bit that I showed you in the accessories that snaps on to hide those unsightly screws. Also, Kensington lock right here if you want to keep your monitor secure. Alright guys, now we're going to run through a quick demonstration of this product, and I don't know if you guys heard that. I'll do it again. But these are touch buttons, but when you turn it off or on, it gives you a little bleep. It's kind of nice. It tells you that you've actually touched the button. And if you're not into that little bleep, the menu will allow you to enable or disable that, as well as the LED light here on the front as well. So very customizable monitor. And what we're looking at right now is our standard Newegg TV background image. And this is a 1920 by 1080 resolution image. Now if you can see this little vertical line right here, that is where the image starts duplicating it. So you have 1080 vertically, and that stays the same across. You have up to here would be 1080 by 1920 widths. This one, of course, extends all the way out to 2560, so that should give you guys a better idea of how much horizontal width you get going with the 21 by 9 resolution monitor. Now, this is, of course, right now connected to our computer in the background there, just via DisplayPort, and it's showing our image right here. Let me walk you guys through the menu right here. Just push the menu button there, and it will give you a nice colored menu here to switch between various options. So brightness, of course, contrast, volume, these sort of standard types of options you have. Volume you can change just by pushing these arrows directly. You don't have to actually dig into the menu to get to that. Input, of course, you can select there, and you can choose between DVI, HDMI 1, HDMI 2, which is also conveniently labeled as Mhl, and then, of course, DisplayPort, which we're on right now. Going back, you also have aspect ratio, and that's probably a feature that a lot of folks will get into with this, because not a lot of actual source material, if you're watching movies or videos, for example, is always framed in this way. So you have a few different aspect ratio options that you can choose between, whether you want to watch your content at its original pixels, as you might see there. You can also do a couple cinema options as well as wide options. Those will either compress or stretch the image to have it fill the frame, and then you might have a little bit of cutoff at the top or the bottom, again, depending on what you're watching. But you can choose between those, so you can get whichever one you most prefer. Some extra functions in there, such as calibration and picture mode. Let me just jump back. You also have picture-in-picture mode. So this one I'll actually I'll come back to picture-in-picture mode once I have another source set up. You can also adjust the picture, you can adjust the color, you can get into some more advanced settings here, such as your AV mode, button sounds. This is where you would turn the button sounds on and off. This is where you turn the power LED on and off. You can also lock the on-screen display. Go ahead and go back, and then of course you can reset all if that's what you want to do. Now what I'm going to do is go over to our input here. I'm going to switch to the Mhl Input. So to demonstrate, I have an LG Optimus G phone right here, which is one of the best phones ever made because it's the phone that I use, although this is not my phone specifically. But all I'm going to do is plug it in. So you simply take your Mhl cable right here, plug it in via your USB port there at the bottom, and in just a moment we'll get a little pop-up, and it's fairly instant. So as you can see, it switched into a landscape mode right here to give you a more equal picture from side to side. Again, here you can see, depending on the display mode that you choose, you might have this image stretched out to both sides. Right now it's going with the actual pixels, so you'll see it centered there in the middle. Then you can access some stuff from your phone here. If you're using the Optimus G, you actually have the option to continue using your phone, even if you start a video playing and then you can go into the phone. That's just a feature of the LG Optimus G. But with any Mhl enabled phone, you can plug it in like that, you can get this display up on the screen. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the video right here. We have an Optimus G video. We're going to just play that. And as you can see again, when it's set to this mode, it's giving us some black bars on the side. But let me quickly jump in here to our ratio. And again, you can switch to Cinema 2, which kind of stretches it out and gives you a zoomed in image, Cinema 1, and then wide. So just different ways of either squeezing the image a little bit or zooming in on the image to fill the entire frame. I'm going to go back to original. Actually, let's just keep it on wide for now. Okay, now one other feature I wanted to show you guys is picture-in-picture. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that this is an option. Oh, I need to turn it on. There's an option that you can split the screen 4 ways. That's actually a software-based function, so you would install that software onto your computer, and then you could split the screen if you wanted to emulate multiple displays. What I'm going to do is switch over to what do I want? DisplayPort plus HDMI 2. I'll hit OK. And then it's instantly splitting the screen here. So on the left side, I'm still watching the video content from the LG Optimus G. And on the right side, we can see the second display from our computer that's there in the background. Of course, right now it's compressing the widescreen down to this mode. You could simply jump into your display settings on your computer here to adjust those if you want. Again, since this monitor can accept many different inputs from many different sources, whether you're talking about a computer, whether you're talking about a smartphone or a tablet, there's going to be lots of different configurations for this, but the easy to access and very straightforward menu, as well as your options on your computer or whatever device you're using, should allow you to navigate between those and set up your monitor how you want to use it. And that's going to wrap it up for this overview video, guys. Once again, this has been the LG UltraWide IPS monitor. Model, again, is 29EA93. I'm Paul with Newegg TV, and if you enjoyed today's video, you can find more on our Newegg TV YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you all next time on Newegg TV.